They're here for our college picks. Again, quick recap. 57% on the year for me, 52% on the year for Sean. I'm going to start us off here. I am taking Vanderbilt plus 13.5 versus Kentucky. This has to be one of the most surprising lines that I've seen. There's no major injuries or anything that I might be missing here that would constitute Kentucky being this big of a favorite. Almost 2 touchdowns. This is insane. It's ridiculous. I don't need a circumstance here where this is like 3 points or it's even 7 points. If you're telling me against one of the worst offenses in the SEC for Kentucky, all Vanderbilt needs to do is chip away and play a good, strong, fundamentally sound game, which they've done all year except against Georgia State, where they played like crap. I think that they 1,000% can cover. This is my lock of the week. This feels too easy. There's got to be something I don't know. Way too high on Kentucky. Kentucky blows. They're not very good. So, give me Vandy plus 13.5.
I think Vegas has seen their fair share of hangovers and know what one might look like. So I am going, and you gave me the
That's
big
a hack-ass
you gave
thing
me
to
that
say.
same hangover speech not 2 weeks ago. Regardless, this is a
You
drunk
can't,
ass
wait,
line.
you can't be.
You got the Vandy quarterback doing media spots for the first time ever. You don't think that's going to make some type of impact on game day?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I like this line anyways. Kentucky's okay. Vandy shocked the world last week. I don't loathe it. My first bet here, Alabama given 21 versus South Carolina.
We need to go back and check what your success rate is of taking lines that are over 20. I need to know because I think you're over.
I am not over, but here's my statement. Alabama just got embarrassed nationally. Maybe the biggest college football upset in the last, since Notre Dame NIU. So look,
F off.
They're going to be ready to go. This entire program doesn't want to have Saban looming over them. DeBoer doesn't want that to happen, thinking, this would never happen under Saban. This couldn't possibly happen under Saban. Well, what would Saban do if they put in an embarrassing performance, Joe? Would he kick them in their asses, or would he say, okay, guys, let's just get over that and we're going to go back to protocol?
Look, your analysis is spot on. It's what you must have been listening to Ruffino and Joe show this week. It's what I talked about. It also helps that the South Carolina offensive line is abysmal. It's literally statistically the worst in the country. So you had a bad game with your front seven last week. This is the get right week. We saw Ole Miss literally do this the week prior. But because this is a 21-point spread, I hate if anything is over 17 unless it's against a Power 5 and a G5 opponent. It's just a bit risky. I don't hate this, but I would not personally take it.
That's interesting. You becoming a Lenora Sellers truther right now.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
Joe Beamer Ball DeLeon. Rolling with the Gamecocks.
Shut the hell up. Stop it. My next one then I'm taking Ohio State -3 versus Oregon. I understand that this is on the road. I understand that this is at Autzen. Having time, and I did a deep dive multiple times this week on Oregon film, on Ohio State film. I think that, one, the skill players for Ohio State are playing at such a high level that I have confidence in them to put points up on the board and them to finish and sustain a number of drives. Number two, not enough people over the past couple of weeks, because Oregon has won pretty handedly, are talking about the erratic nature in the way in which that Oregon's offense is operating. You put on the film, and they're all over the place. Dylan Gabriel is throwing into really just terrible spots, leading to turnovers, incompletions. They're not going to be able to run the ball with Jordan James. The interior of their offensive line is weak, going up against one of the best interior D-line groups in the country. Tyleik Williams is a monster. He is eating dudes for lunch, and he's not even playing that much because they're rotating so many guys. I have a ton of faith in Ohio State to win, and I think if they do win this game, that they can separate and they can win by 7, maybe even more.
It's kind of disrespectful to Ohio State that this line is only 3. I know it's on the road, but
I think
Oregon's put on some faltering performances so far. Ohio State has played cupcakes, but they beat the life out of the cupcakes. A lot of experts are picking
Oregon. There's a lot of college football experts right now that are taking Oregon.
I don't like that. I do not. The money is not strong or confident on Oregon this week. Don't love it. Can't hate your pick there. It's not terrible. My next pick, Ole Miss given 3 versus LSU at LSU. I am excited to watch this game. Lane wants to put his amnesia spell on all of college football with a big win against LSU. Why? Because it's what he always does. He does some dummy shit, and then he makes up for it with some dynamic offense and hard defenses and a well-coached team. And they just like to take a week off here and there. But if we're going right down to the matchups, coaching matchup, Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin gets that edge for me. Quarterback matchup, Jackson Dart, Garrett Nussmeier, Jackson Dart gets that edge for me. Let's go overall defense. Who's got a better defense here? Ole Miss over LSU. LSU has looked shoddy. They haven't impressed me at all this year. All the hype, all the rigmarole that LSU was supposed to have. It's not. Oh, that's a deep pull. I'll explain it to you after.
Okay.
Regardless, Ole Miss clearing this 3. I know they had a crazy game. It was either last year or 2 years ago, the 52-49 one. I'm not worried about it at all. I think Ole Miss is a class above LSU this season.
A lot of that analysis is what I had this week on Ruffino and Joe. It's also a pick that it wasn't one of my picks this week on VSiN, but Joe asked me, like, if you had a pick on this game, what would it be? I said Ole Miss, and I actually already placed a bet on this. But I'm not in super love with it because I think just because it's at home at LSU, weird, wonky shit happens in Death Valley.
You think they're going to play neck? New slant.
You can't downplay it. No, don't downplay that. They will get pissed at you if you imply that is not a hard place to play.
Oh, we're gonna go to Fred's and get drunk and wake up an hour before kickoff, and then.
How do you know the bars?
What do you mean? I'm a ball knower, brother.
I think you're a bar knower. I don't think you know much ball.
Bar knower is correct.
All right, my last pick. I am taking UCF -3.5 versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati is dog-ass. They are garbo. And I think that UCF, this is a buy low situation for them. I think that there's an assumption that UCF isn't very good because of the way that they played over the last 2 weeks. I called out and said that Florida was going to win money line against UCF last week. That was one of my picks on the show. Because they did not have the bodies, UCF did not have the bodies to go up against an SEC team that their offensive and defensive lines were their strong suits. That's just a tough matchup that they were not built to win. And the week before that, they were dealing with a freaking hurricane. Hurricane prep is no nothing to sneeze at. I don't know how significant it was, but I brought this up to Joe that, you know, do you remember it was a hurricane and then it got like downgraded to a tropical storm one year when we were at Rhode Island? Do you remember that?
The nor'easter?
It wasn't the nor'easter. It was a completely different week.
Oh.
It was a game week, and it was like we could barely practice. We were indoors.
Oh,
it was
yeah. I remember that week.
Total mess. So it is difficult to focus. The way that they played against Colorado is not indicative of who they are as a team. I think that this is the get-right moment, and they blow past a nothing Cincinnati team. Give me UCF.
Sure is difficult to focus. You're happier that week. Just practicing inside. Got my sneakers on. No knee braces. What?
Most classes are canceled. Yeah.
Oh, God. What a feeling. Yeah. The general listener will never know the euphoria of an indoors practice. Oh, so fun. My final pick, Notre Dame giving 24 to Stanford.
This is the worst
big
goddamn pick that I've ever heard.
I'm hoping maybe I could get a history lesson from you. You were giving me a rash of S earlier today about
terrible.
this pick. No.
Crack.
Me and the Notre Dame fans are lockstep, all right?
You're taking a loss for a bit. That's what you're doing right now.
No, it's not a bit. Stanford's not good. Notre Dame is surging. Notre Dame is ready to make a statement against Stanford. Okay? Silly statement for me to make right now. It should be implied that they could beat this team by 24, and I think that they will. Riley Leonard, let's take the top off some, like they've been doing a little more and more. We're out of that week 1 playbook. We're out of that week 2 playbook. Time to play with some balls, Fighting Irish. I think they do. Stanford's a rollover. I don't care about the history and the rivalry between like the number 1 academic school
you
and the number 15 academic school.
Stop. You can't make that statement. I don't care about the historic rivalry. That it matters for this game. There have been years where Stanford's been terrible, Notre Dame's been brilliant, and the vice versa, and an upset has been pulled out. This is one of those very rare occurrences where the rivalry is 1,000% important to talk about. That line's way too big. Notre Dame had a really good game against Purdue. They're never going to replicate that.
No, we can
again
do
the
it
rest of the
again.
season.
We can do
Stop
it again.
saying we.
What do you
Stop
mean?
saying we.
I'm super fan this year.
You're
I am
not.
Notre Dame
You're an
super fan.
asshole. You're an asshole. Stop it.
What?
No, because you think it's funny, and then that's why you're placing this bet. I would like to quickly check what Notre Dame is.
They've made me money this year. Notre Dame has made me money in just about every game that they've played, except for the incident.
I can't believe that you think that they're capable of covering. And more importantly, Stanford has the 12th ranked run defense in the country. Notre Dame can't throw the ball.
Oh, yes, they can.
You think that they're just going to be like, oh, guys, we got to throw the ball more. We're suddenly going to figure it out this week? No.
Why are you gatekeeping this team? Why are you being a
I'm telling
Notre
you
Dame
not
fan?
to take them.
No,
You won't listen to me.
You can't say
I'm trying
we.
to save you money.
I'm trying to find a college football
You're a
team for
piece
me
of
to
garbage.
be a fan of.
No, you're losing in bets, and you're trying to get underneath my skin, and it's not going to work. And I'm going to downplay this. This is a dumbass pick.
Well, one of us is yelling and one of us isn't. So I don't know.
I'm going to be yelling at you when this doesn't hit.
You're working yourself into a shoot. All right. It's a good bet.
moronic
Notre Dame,
pick.
great team. Stanford, not a great team.
Insanely moronic
easy.
pick. All right, let's move on.